We're back again. We're still teaching out of the Holy Tablets, which is considered to be the Black Bible or the Melon Book, the Book of Life. I am your host to the most, MG Michael Gabriel. Okay, I'm basically an instrument. Christ, the word Christos, Latin word. You have some of my people out there that I just let them off, cut the string, let them go ahead and do what they got to do, what they have know from knowledge. They also know that we went from slavery, as they say, to salary, but we, as the angelic realm, had a different plan. We didn't even think about what they was talking about because we knew that, first of all, my middle name is Father Time. I created time, in segments for different reasons. So this period of 24,000 years or 25,000 years for the renewal of your high existence or your high story or our story, what they say his story or history, because they're always referring to the angelic realm who created all humans and basically did things which is unwritten about. Okay, your brain is not even capable of comprehending the magnitude. This is why you have that word Akbar. If you look up the word Akbar or the word infinity, you'll see that it's something that you cannot talk about. But today we're going to talk about from slavery, as they call it, to salary, as you're doing now. You know, and I had some tickets, and don't worry about that right now. Okay, so now we're going about knowledge. If there is anything lovely, if there is anything desirable, if there is anything in the reach of man that is worthy of prayer, it is not knowledge. And yet, who is it that obtained it? The statesman proclaimed that he has it. The ruler of the people claimeth the praise of it, but findeth the subject that he possesseth. Evil is not requisite to man, neither can vice be necessary to be tolerated. Yet, how many crimes are committed by the decree of the council? But but be wise, O ruler, and learnt, O that command the nations. One crime authorized by you is worse than the escape of 10 from punishment. When the people are numerous, when thy sons increase about your table, sendest thou them not out to slay the innocent and to jail and to fall before the sword of him who they have not offended? If the objects of thy desire demanding the lives of 1,000, say yet thou art not, I will have it. Surely thou forgivest that he who created thee created also thee and these, and that their blood is as rich as thine. Sayest thou that justice cannot be executed without wrong? Surely thy own words condemn thee. Thou who flattereth with false hopes the criminal that he may confess his guilt, art not thou unto him a criminal? Or art thou guiltless because they cannot punish it? When thou commandest to torture him who is but suspect of ill, darest thou to remember that thou may rack the innocent? Is thy purpose answered by the event? Is thy soul satisfied with its confession? Harm or pain will endure him to say what is not as easy as what is, and anguish has caused innocence to accuse herself, that thou mayest not kill him without cause. Thou doest worse than kill him, that thou mayest prove if he is guilty, thou destroyest him innocently. O blindness of all truth! O insufficiency of the wisdom of the wise! Know, when thy judge shall bid thee account for this, thou shalt wish 10,000 guilty to have gone free, rather than one innocent to stand forth against thee. Insufficient as thou art to the maintenance of justice, how shall you arrive at the knowledge of truth? How shall thou ascend to the footsteps of her throne? As the owl is blinded by radiance of the sun, so shall the brightness of her dazzle you in your approaches. If thou would mount unto her throne, first bow yourself at her footstool. If thou would strive at the knowledge of her, first inform yourself of your own ignorance. More worthy is she than pearls, therefore seek her carefully. The emerald and the sapphire and the ruby are as dirt beneath her feet. Therefore pursue her manfully the way to her labor. Attention is the pilot that must conduct you in her port. Be weary not on the way, for when you arrive at her, toil shall be to you for pleasure. Say not unto yourself, behold, truth breedeth hatred, and I will avoid it. Dissimulation raises friends, and I will follow it. Are not the enemies made by truth better than friends obtained by flattery? Naturally, doeth man deserve the truth, yet when it is before him, he will not apprehend it. And if he will not apprehend it, it forces itself upon him. He is not offended at all. The fault is not in truth, for that is amiable. But the weakness of man bears not its splendor. Would you see your insufficiencies more plainly viewed at your devotions? To what end was religion instituted, but to teach thee of your infirmities, to remind you of your weakness, to show you that from heaven alone are you dust? Doeth it not remind you that you are dust? Do it not tell you that you are ashes? And beyond repentance, it is not verity. When thou givest an oath, when you swear you will not deceive, behold, it spreads shame upon your face, and repentance may be forgiven. Learn to be honest, and oaths are necessary. The shorter follies are, the better. Say not therefore to another with boldness. He that heareth his own faults with patience shall reprove another with boldness. He that giveth a denial with reason shall suffer the repulse with moderation. Thyself, I will not play the fool by halves. The tender heart is turned from his purpose by supplications. The proud is redeemed more obstinate by entreaty. the sense of thy insufficient commandeth you to hear. But to the just thou must hear without passions. Now we're going to speak about misery. Misery, feeble and insufficient as thou art, O man, and good, frail, and inconstant as thou art in pleasure. Yet there are things in which thou art strong and unshakable. Its name is misery. It is the character of thy being, the prerogative of thy nature. In thy breast alone it resideth without thee. It is nothing of it, there is nothing of it, and behold, what is its source but your own passions? He who gave thee these also reasons to subdue thee. Exert it, and thou shalt trample them under thy feet. Thy interest to the world is not shameful. Thy destruction is not glorious. Lo, men adorn the instruments of death with gold and gems and wear them above their garments. He who begetteth a man hideth his face, but he who killeth 1,000 is honored, that in his error. Know thou, notwithstanding, custom can alter the nature of truth, neither can the opinion of man destroy justice. The glory and the shame are misplaced. There is but one way for a man to be produced. There are 1,000 by which he may be destroyed. There is no praise or honor to him who giveth being to another, but triumphs and empires are the rewards of murder. Yet he who have many children has as many blessings. He who has taken away the life of another shall not enjoy his own. While the savage curses the birth of his son, the blessed the death of his father, doth he not call himself a monster? The greatest of all human life is sorrow. Too much of it, of this thou art born unto. Add not unto it by thy own perversiveness. Grief is natural to thee and is always about thee. Pleasure is a stranger and visited thee by times. As well thy reason and sorrow shall be cast behind thee. Be patient, be prudent, and the visits of joy shall remain long with thee. Every part of thy frame is compatible to is capable of sorrow, but few and narrow are the paths that lead to delight. Pleasures can be admitted only simply, but pain rush in 1,000 at a time. At the blaze of straw fadeth, as the blade of straw fadeth, as soon as it is kindled, so passes away the brightness of joy. And thou knowest not what became of it. Sorrow is frequent, pleasure is rare, pain cometh of itself. Delight must be purchased, grief is unmixed, but joy wanteth not is an ally of bitterness. As the soundest health is less perceived than the lightest malady, so the highest joy touches us less deep than the smallest sorrow. We are in love with anguish. We often fly from pleasure. When we purchase it, it closes not more than is worth. It costs not more than its worth. Reflection is the business of man, a sense of his state, of his first duty. But who remembered himself abhorred? It is not in mercy then that sorrow is allotted unto us. Man foresees the evil that has come. He remembers it when it is past. He considers not the thought of affliction would be deeper than the affliction itself. Think not of your pain, but when it is upon you, and you shall avoid what must hurt you, because avoidance is the key to the things that disturb you. He who weepeth before he needeth, weepeth more than needeth. And why? But that he loveth weepeth. The stag weepeth not until the spear is lifted against him, nor do the tears of a beaver fall to the hound is ready to seize him. Man anticipate death by the apprehension of it, and the fear is a greater mystery than the event itself. Be always prepared to give an abundance of thy actions, and the best death is that which is least premeditated. So we read that, listen to that, scribe that, write that, teach that, and let's go ahead and get out of this slavery mentality, bad habits, and not having one truth, which is called the Holy Tablets. One good memory, which is our energy, so we continue in this victorious stance that we take not only in America, but all over the globe. So we say Yashar, I say Yashar, and you know what it means.